Perfect. So welcome everyone. I'm very, very excited to share this with you. I will present myself in a moment, but I really want to thank you and welcome you to this beautiful space. This is a space we are creating, and it's a space for you, like for our inner work, for embracing and working with our shadow. That even if you're not familiar with the shadow work or even the name of the shadow, we'll get deep into it in just a few moments. But I really want to thank you, not just for being here and joining the workshop, but for giving this time for you, for your growth, for your self development. So being very welcome, even if you're listening here right now. For some of you, it's the morning. For some of you, it's the night. Some of you will hear the recording, but I'm very happy that you're hearing this and watching this. So welcome. A few recommendations that I already sent you in the mail you got. Have a relaxing drink. It can be water, it can be wine, it can be a tea or coffee, whatever you want, just to create space. And also a special notebook. If you just have like sheets of paper by themselves, you can then make something special. I recommend it to be like, I put special notebook, because when we put the energy on something we are using, it creates more engagement. And also whenever we see it and whenever we are working on it, like this notebook, I recommend it to you to use even after the workshop, no, or for all your workshops you take or your self-development. And it's beautiful to have one that you really, whenever you see it or whenever you are writing on it, that it creates this emotion in you. So I don't know if I have mine with me, but I have like many special notebooks, and this is one that is cork, and I made it with a pyrograph. I don't know if the name in English, but it doesn't have to be this. It can just be like the piece of paper you put together and you draw something or print something, whatever is special for you. And okay, cameras on if you can, because it's easier to connect. And if you're just watching the recording, it's okay. And then in this process, well, always in self-development and self-growth, but also in this specific work of shadow work, we need a lot of love and acceptance. And it's love for us, love for the rest, but a lot of self-compassion, self-love, and acceptance of what? Of many things that we will just get into it. But it's really important you enter this space with also openness. Some of the, depending on where you are, how many other workshops or podcasts or you've heard about personal growth and shadow work and stuff, but it's always good to be open and with this acceptance and this love. And also I recommend you a lot of patience. We all, like even the ones in here in the recording, the ones that will hear them afterwards, are in different places. I might have worked for a long year, like 10, 12 years. I've been in this very beautiful journey of self-growth. Some of you may just be starting, or it doesn't matter the time you've been here in this journey, or it matters that you have this patience, because even if you are the same as someone else, you're familiar, or someone in this meeting, we all have different stories, we all have different skills, and we all can get to work on our shadow, but don't compare with others, and be very patient in your own process. That's what patience is for our own process. So those are the recommendations. If you have any other recommendations or something you want to add to these recommendations, very welcome. And if not, we'll just continue. Be free to interrupt me whenever you like if you have any doubt or you want to make a contribution. This is like a small group, and that's also very beautiful, but because we can work like more specifically with each one of you, and we can get deeper into this beautiful work. Okay, so for introducing ourselves and also myself with you, I know most of you know me because we've crossed our paths in some beautiful trip that I've made, or you're listening the recording maybe because some friend of you will send it to you. But I want to introduce myself and to let you know more about me. Well, first, I'm Paulina. I live in Mexico. I'm Mexican, and I've been traveling the world for a bit and knowing different people. But in this introduction, well, I've been working with self-development since very little, that my mom started with meditation classes and all of the law of attraction and stuff. But I've got deep into the work or into this journey when I was at college. Maybe high school, that I start manifesting stuff and getting more into the these books and stuff. But when I entered the career that I'm an industrial engineer, nothing to do with what I'm doing now, well, some basis. But I remember perfectly, I was studying in my different classes and it made my base statistics or physics 1 or stuff, and I was reading my self-development books and also like hearing different stuff and podcasts. But it really passionates me, this work. So I went studying to France, like an exchange year, and then afterwards that I came back to Mexico and I say, I really want to make something with this, no? Everything that I'm experiencing, all this manifestation and meditation and stuff. So I started creating my own company that's called, in Spanish, Paradigmas, that in English would be something like On Paradigm. And our main mission is to create more fulfillment and awareness in the world consciousness, like self-consciousness and then social and environmental consciousness too. But then that's how I started, and then I've been more than 7 years with the company and the workshops and stuff, and it's a beautiful path that is not something that I'm sharing, but that I'm also working at. So this specific workshop of the shadow work, I've been working with that like from 5 years. I called it before the ego, and then now for a few months till now, I've been really getting deep into the shadow work, and it's not an easy path, but it's a really enriching and beautiful path. So that's part of my presentation, just for you to know more about me and this paradigmas or On Paradigm. But also, I would love to make this presentation within ourselves in this meeting, sharing a little bit of our light and shadow, getting into this work by now. I will love if you open your microphone and share it, and if you can, for some reason, you can just put it on the chat. And also, if you're just watching the recording, I just invite you to write down something that you really like doing, that you think it's your light, something like it doesn't have to be a talent, but something that you really enjoy doing and you can also share with others. For example, for me, my workshops, part of my life is sharing who I am with others and sharing all these skills and different work that I've done that now I'm like sharing with others, even if it's in a workshop or even if it's with friends and they need some feedback or advice or something. So that's part of my light. And part of my shadow that I've been working on, it's embracing, is that I don't really like feeling anger. So I kind of reject it, and instead of so many times it had happened to me that I feel very angry, but I can identify it as anger. So instead of being angry, I just cry. I just translate the emotion to sadness instead of anger, because we will see more now, but I've repressed that part of me of feeling angry or really expressing myself. So that's part of my shadow. And I open the room for you to also share. I will stop the presentation so we can share. Thank you for sharing, for opening up. Thank you for being here and taking this time to work our own shadow. And yeah, this will require opening ourselves also to this group, and for tuning in this workshop and really making the space. Now I will just invite you to leave everything that you have on your hands. Find, if you can, if you're making something else, doesn't matter, but if you can, just sit comfortably in a chair, a couch, wherever you are, and be with your back straight, like your column. And we do a very small meditation to tune in with this moment, tune in with ourselves, with what we're feeling, and really entering this a virtual space, but also like the space you have in your home or wherever you are, to really tune in with ourselves and make this a special moment, special place, so we can work it out with the shadow work. So first, with your eyes open, you can stretch a little bit, make movements that it will relax you, and take a deep breath with your eyes open, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling again, eyes open, watch everything that's on your surroundings. Recognize the space that you're in. You can put your feet on the floor or cross your legs, however you feel more comfortable. Keep breathing in a slow pace. You can put your hands on your chest and abdomen, or both on your chest or on your lap. As you keep breathing, recognizing everything that's around you. And then whenever you feel ready, you can close your eyes and listen to my voice as you keep breathing. Try to make your breathing a little bit loud so you can hear it. No super loud, but just enough that you can hear it and recognize it. And connect with what you're feeling in this very moment. First, with the physical sensations. Recognize how your chest expands as you breathe in and contracts as you let all the air out. With each inhalation and exhalation, just feel as your body starts relaxing. Put your shoulders down. Start feeling how it's relaxed. Start feeling how your lungs fill with air as you inhale. If you want, you can keep the air in for a few moments before exhaling, and then just exhale. Keep your own rhythm in your breath, just like it's deep and slow. And I want to invite you to also open yourself for everything emotional that you're feeling right now. It can be enjoyment, happiness, sadness, frustration. I want you to know that everything you are and everything you're feeling, it's welcome in this space. And welcoming and accepting it is letting us feel whatever we are feeling. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Everything you are, every part of your personality, of your being, of your emotions is welcome in this space. And now that we are more relaxed, I want you to set up an intention for this moment, for this shadow workshop. Maybe it can be just feeling more peaceful, working a specific relationship. Just set an intention of how you want to lead this workshop. It can be love, acceptance. And have this intention with you in your mind and in your heart that will continue with us in this full workshop. Inhale and exhale, being aware of your body, your heart, your mind, your thoughts, and letting out everything that does not serve you in this very specific moment and time of the workshop. If you have any worry, you can feel it and then let it go. I'm focusing in this very present moment that we'll keep sharing and working on ourselves. I invite you to take a deep breath, inhaling with me, sustaining the air, and then exhaling a little louder. letting out everything that does not serve you for this workshop. Inhale, and exhale. One more time, inhale, hold, and exhale. You can start moving your arms, stretching your neck, coming back to this present moment, to the space at where you are. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Take your time as you keep breathing. And you can start opening your eyes, stretching out, feeling very present. Let's go deepening to, I know you maybe read something but this is really important. Why is it important to know and work our shadow? Do you have any ideas? Why do you think it's important for us to work our shadows?
It's part of us and we can't just ignore it and push it away.
Yeah, that's true. We can always try to push it away, but it will always come out at some place. To unlock more potential, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can keep writing in the chat or opening to accept ourselves more fully. Yeah, that's true. And most of the benefits or why is it important is first because, well, there's a huge amount of benefits of the shadow work. And some of them, it's like sometimes when we don't work our shadow, or we don't even recognize our shadow, we can tend to translate our shadow to making some different activity, no? Like instead of accepting my anxiety or my worry, I choose to eat, no? Or I choose to go watch Netflix. Or even though I project my shadow into others, so I explode and I shout and I hurt someone with what I said, no? Or my words can be hurtful or my actions can be hurtful. And if I'm not aware of my shadow, I just keep reproducing that. Also, if we are not aware and not in this shadow work, we can tend to stay because of fear or shame or something in places that we no longer want to be. Have that happened to you? Like, even if it's a relationship or even if it's a work that you say, I don't want to be here, but I'm afraid of something, no? Like even if it's feeling alone or not finding anything else. So not recognizing or being able to jump into our shadow, our fears, our shame, our judgment, can land into like tied up to a situation or a person that I no longer want to be in. But I don't know how to go out of this situation because I haven't done the shadow work. And it also can when we repress a lot of things, even if it's emotions or thoughts or whatever happens in our life, we tend to manifest them, or our body tends to manifest them with sicknesses. No, even if it's the flu or something, like our body somatizes whatever we are holding back or what we're putting in the shadow. So that's why it's also very helpful for our health. So for this, I wanted if you have the balloon. If you don't have it, I will just, let me grab mine and I'll be the tryout for you. Someone has it, a balloon or not? Perfect. Okay. So this is how kind of we form our shadow and how dangerous it can be if we don't, and I'm sure you will find it. So if someone told you like, yeah, the point is that you keep putting in like all the shadow, everything that we are shameful or that we keep inflating or blowing up the balloon, but they say you cannot let it out, you cannot let the air out, but you can like put it, you cannot hold the balloon to get there in. So you will have to keep inflating and inflating and inflating. And if you, Alicia, that you have yours, and everyone that has one, if I told you, Alicia, you have to put in air and keep putting air, and you cannot let the air out. Okay, so you cannot hold it. It's just with your mind. Like you can hold it for it not to go out. But if you let some air out, you lose. No, so it's like a game. So we'll try, and at some point it will come that we start inflating our balloon. No, and if I couldn't do this, I won't keep blowing because I know it will explode on my face. But what will happen if we keep blowing? Like if we keep blowing and blowing, it will just pop into our faces. No, and that what's happened with I will. I don't want it to explode in my face, but if you do that exercise, it will just explode in your face, and that's what happened with the ego and with your shadow. Like society or parents or whatever, without guilting anyone or judging anyone else, but they tend to tell us like, yeah, put that away, no, even if it's in your balloon and somewhere else, and you can never let that out. So as we try to stop the air for going out, as we cannot hold it with our hand, we just keep blowing more air and more air and more air, and at some point that balloon cannot hold it anymore. So that balloon just pops out. And if you made that I will not encourage you to do it because I don't want you to get hurt with the balloon. But if you just do that, it will just pop into your face and it will be hurtful. So that's how, if we don't work our shadow, it will just go, like, even if it's a slap on our face or the balloon exploding in our face, that's how it works. And that's how it is, we can tell, dangerous or not pleasant if we don't work our shadow. No, that's why if we repress so many things towards in our infants, or maybe now in our adulthood, at some points we explode. No, we said something that we didn't want it to say. We hurt someone we didn't want it to hurt. We just make a, like a, how is it called, turmoil? Is it when we just make, like, in Spanish is berrinche? We make this is like, no, I don't want this, no, and we explode and we don't know why. But why? Because we keep repressing so many things and putting in so many things. Has it happened to you that you're someday and everything starts good, but at some point your boss comes in and shouts to you, and then in the traffic someone's was this close to hitting your car and you were like so stressed, but you didn't really like get out the stress, so you keep putting in, and then you fight with your partner or your mom or your son or whatever, and then a bad news came to you, bad news, and maybe some client didn't took the project, whatever, and then at the end you are holding that much energy that a single thing that it can be like, oh, the glass broke and I took I left the glass and it broke, we go down into tears, no? And the people that's behind us is like, it doesn't matter, it's just a glass, don't cry. And it's like, we sometimes can notice that it's not about the glass, of course, it's everything that we repress during the day, and that can happen for months or for, I remember my mom, and it has happened also to me, like my mom, when we were facing like my grandmother's illness, and she was like about to die, and we were there like almost for a year, and also my mom was divorcing, and she has all these feelings inside, and then she told me, like, I remember after your grandmother's died, we were fixing all about the apartment and selling and all this stuff, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks after that. And then I remember, I wasn't there in at her home, but she told me, I remember just getting in and telling my son, that is my brother, telling like, oh, now I can rest, now I can like be peaceful and rest. And at that point she had like a, not a blackout, like she passed out, but she was like telling my brother, that's named Rodrigo, like, Rodrigo, what day is it? Like, where's your sister? Like, she just completely went out of the, like, of reality. And then she was to the hospital, and then, but it was like all the stress putting together, the body just, or that happens to all of us. No, I remember, I will get more deep into that, but I had like last year, I had like a relationship that I was in, that it was really difficult. It was a lot of growth, and I remember I asked for growth, but then I had to specify more, like how do I want to grow? But I remember that I repressed so much anger in that relationship, because for me, anger is something, or was something, that was bad. No, so I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't express my feelings and stuff. So with that person, uh, it was like almost 7 months or a year that I had repressed so much anger and so much that I wanted to say or do that I couldn't, because of fear or rejection or whatever, that I had a fever, but a really like high fever for a week or so. Like I was very, very sick for a week, and I was very weak, and I was like, yeah, sure. Knowing this, I know that I repress so many things, but that also happens, no? So that's the balloon metaphor, but it's like, that's why it's so important to work our shadow, no? First, and you say it's because every time we work our shadow, we tune in with our authenticity. We are more ourselves, we have more potential, as you said, but for accepting ourselves. We all wear masks all the time to feel accepted, to feel safe, no, to feel in a group. But as we work our shadows, we tend to be more authentic, because we start embracing, as we said before, our weirdness. How weird and how unique we are, we start to embrace it, instead of saying like, no, I'm so weird, I don't want to be this weird. It's like, of course I'm weird, and I'm super, super happy being this weird. Then our creativity also grows, and we can be more creative in our processes. We have a lot of more energy, because even if we don't see it as more as that, and it's not that tangible, but our shadow demands and absorbs a lot of energy in our day-to-day. It's not something that we will see that it's like the mentor in Harry Potter that is sucking our energy. No, but it's something that even though if we don't see it, we can feel it, because we are more worried maybe for what will they think of me, and then we're like feeling this anger that we don't know where it comes from, and that requires a lot of energy. So when we work our shadow and we're more aware and conscious of our shadow, that energy comes back to us, so we feel more power in our day-to-day. Now we can create more, we can do more, because we have taken back that energy. Okay, and then of course, like personal awakening, we begin to being more aware and more awake to this consciousness, and integrating these parts of ourselves that we have denied for so many years. We get a much more clearer perception of ourselves and of others. No, instead of seeing yourself as my shadow and what I have to work, I see you by yourself, because I've worked on my shadow. Okay, and then, of course, we improve our relationships, because instead of saying you're the one that's making me angry and you're the one that is wrong, it's like, okay, what are you projecting that I have to work in myself? We'll get more into that. And I think that's the most beautiful things I've done. And I've improved now the relationships. I remember so many times just saying the other one is the one that's wrong, and I'm okay. And then making all this shadow work and all that we have seen in the workshop, and saying, wow, it wasn't never outside, it was inside. So every time that we choose to work on ourselves and on our shadow, we improve our relationships, and we will see how that works, but a lot. It's a huge change that is beautiful. Then, as I told you, the physical health, and we also, and this is very, very important, reduce the global shadow. Every war, every conflict, what we're living today, like I know you're aware of the different wars that are now in our world, that's just the projection of our global shadow. Like imagine our own shadows, that when we get angry with something and we want to punch someone, or we want to just shout to someone, put all that together into nationalities, into countries, and then of course we create wars, even if we are not participating on them, because all our energy and our vibration expands. So working our own shadow also reduces the global shadow. No? And you will say, yeah, but the president is the one that needs to work their shadow. Of course, everyone needs to work our shadow, no? But if we start working our shadow, we also reduce, because imagine this, no? I'll take you as an example, Anya. If I'm working my shadow and Anya is not working her shadow, and we come together and then she starts shouting at me or something, if I have worked my shadow, there won't be a conflict, because I won't engage in the conflict. So that's how we reduce the global shadow too. Okay. Sorry for taking the example, Annie. Okay, perfect. So that's what is so important, and these are all the benefits that we get while working our shadow. So why do I share this with you? It's not just for saying like, yeah, it's a beautiful work, but every time that you're scared or doubting this shadow work or working on yourself, focusing on these benefits, like even if it's okay, it's for my physical health, okay, it's for my relationship of getting better with my mom or with my son or with my partner, that can motivate you to keep on working. Okay, so perfect. Any doubt or anything until here? No? Okay, perfect. So the what I was telling you about the global shadow. So our personal shadow is like this bridge, and this is said by Charlie Morley, that I really recommend him as an author. He's much, I will tell him more about him because he's more about the dreams, but our personal shadow is a bridge to the global one. So that was what I was telling you. Becoming aware of our own shadows keep us from falling into that mass psychosis. Because if we have very well worked our shadow, or even if we're starting and we see the war, I don't know, in Israel or in Ukraine, Russia, instead of engaging with that, saying no, all those, no, and this feeling of anger and judgment and everything that can come up with the wars and all these conflicts worldwide, we choose to work that inside so we don't fall into the mass of psychosis. No, we don't fall into that energy. So we start like creating a protection or a barrier that also helps the world. Okay. So that's why it's so, so important to work our shadow. And now that we know why is it important, what is the shadow? What have you heard? What have you read about the shadow? Tell me everything that comes for you of what is the shadow. And as you said, it's something that sometimes is not just from this life. I don't know if it's not just like about past life, because that it's of our beliefs, if you believe in past life or not, and we're not deepening that much into that, but it can comes out from our past generations. No, 7 generations above us, we can have the shadow of them, even if we don't even if we are not aware of that. So being aware of our shadow and our ancestors' shadow, it's also helping us. But yeah, that's very, very important to know. And also, as Savannah says, fear, division, blame, yeah, something we don't really accept. Yeah, something that you say, Bridget, is we try to separate it from us, but it's not separated. So we kind of try to push it away, but it's also always with us. No, we cannot run away from our shadow. that's something that we need to address, so we can work. Well, we try to push it away and we try to separate it, but yeah, it's something that we, as Alicia said, is really that we don't accept or try to hide from others, because sometimes it hurts so much. Sometimes my father told me when I was little that it was not good to shout if you were a woman or whatever. So that's how it becomes, like, that's a shadow. No, everything that we hide, like we can't see in ourselves. So it's in ourselves, it's not separated, but it's everything that we deny to see in ourselves. And it represents the part of us that we no longer claim to be, like, oh no, I'm no longer unpunctual, and I'm very straight in time. But something remains, no? Or even though the positive qualities we have, we'll dig deeper into that, but we also have our golden shadow. That is everything within us with this full potential, our positive qualities that we really don't accept on ourselves, that is everything that we have rejected, denied, disowned, or repressed. We'll get more into that. But it's kind of our dark side. And not dark as in always a negative part and we should be scared of that. It's just unilluminated. Like the right definition of dark is that it's not illuminated. So what we have to do to get into dark side is just have our lamp or our own light and get into the darkness, get into that shadow, so we can go in. So it's also our unconscious. It's not like our unconscious is the one in charge of creating our shadow. And something to address here is very important. Our unconscious is not our enemy. Our unconscious is always trying to protect us. And our unconscious is bigger than we can ever imagine. Like we can say, no, it's 10 times bigger. No, I cannot even tell you the number of how many times bigger of our unconscious is. So it's just there, and it's not something that's trying to hurt us. On the contrary, it's trying to protect us. No, so everything that we pass, everything that the unconscious is just grabbing things that we are not aware of. That's why it's the unconscious. But we can, and that's the darkness. It's something that we don't know, that we haven't gone into that, because every time that we illuminate some dark part of ourselves, it becomes conscious. So it's a little less unconscious, but still we have a lifetime work to for the unconscious. But that's not something like, oh no, I won't do that because it's all my life. You will still do that. So it's a beautiful journey, and as I told you before, it's not easy, but it's really, really nice to get deep into that. Okay, so how does it works? That's a really interesting question, and it's interesting how it works. How does it works our shadow? So there are 3 different types how we can start creating our shadow, and the first one is suppression, the one I was telling you before. No, I'm feeling anxious. I don't know if it has happened to you. I'm sure it has, and it has happened to me a lot of times. It still does, but every time I am more aware, so I can stop. Instead of, I don't know, suppressing, is like, I'm feeling this anxiety inside, or I'm feeling sad because my mom haven't answered this for me, or my partner has issues and we have unresolved issues, and so I'm feeling really sad. And this is very, very important for us to address. What happens whenever we judge our feelings? It's when we start putting, yeah, joy is good, sadness is bad, anger is bad, I don't know, frustration is bad. So we put every unpleasant feeling as if it's bad. No, let me know on the chat, or even opening your, or just raising your hand, who likes feeling anger, like really enjoying feeling anger? None of us. Who likes feeling frustration? That's one of my unfavorite emotions, frustration. I'm very not fond of frustration. Sadness. Who like feeling sadness? Sometimes I do. Yeah, sometimes I do. Saban is okay with anger. Yeah. So there's something that doesn't feel good inside of us, no? So what we do is we start suppressing. Instead of owning my sadness, or owning my anger, or owning my frustration, it should be a good idea just to go watch Netflix, or it should be a good idea to go find something sweet in the kitchen because it produces chemicals that are more pleasant for me. No, so that's how our unconscious and our defense mode works. If we are not aware of it, we can go. That's why the typical movie scene of eating a bunch of ice cream when we break up of a relationship, and that's how it works. But then it's whenever we are not aware, and we working with our shadow, it's always embracing every emotion and every thought and every situation that comes in. There's a book that I read years ago that is called The 10-Second Miracle. I think it's from, I'll send you the name because I don't really remember. Gay Hendricks, I think. And it's like, if you really get to feel the emotion you're feeling within a 10-second period of time, it will dissolve. But what happens that we start feeling something and it's like, no, this is no good, I should go do something, or we're feeling it, but we are not really getting into that emotion. So that's how it becomes creating shadow, suppressing that. No, every time that when you were a child, maybe they told you like, no, don't scream, don't cry. No, even if we are a man or woman, it was more, I think now it's balancing, but for men. No, men shouldn't cry. A woman shouldn't shout and shouldn't feel angry. So we start repressing because of that. And even when we come to adulthood, it's like, no, I shouldn't feel angry. Or even though it might not have to be with something social, even it can be like something spiritual, no? No, anger is not spiritual. No, sadness is like, what? We are here to live every emotion. like in this plane, like in this duality. So we are here to live. If I get angry, that's not spiritual. So in this work of or this path of enlightenment, I shouldn't feel that. Happened to me for a long time. Like, no, I shouldn't feel angry because everything is love and everything. Yes, it is, but we sometimes we stop our emotion and we use spirituality or all these techniques to, I don't know if you've heard about the spiritual bypassing. Are you familiar with that term? No, that okay, I use it as a bypass or as something that no, I shouldn't be. Like for me, when I was I met Ari and Savannah in Hawaii, but when I was in Hawaii, I had this perception of there was a huge like population of hippie people in Hawaii, like American or for mainland, they're in Hawaii. And I remember perfectly, like I didn't like that much that vibe because yes, it was all love and all beauty and everything. But when it came out for some, I don't know, a conflict or some emotion that was unpleasant, and look how I'm beginning to change the words. It's not a bad emotion, it's an unpleasant emotion for some of us, no? But then I start seeing like they are not getting deep into that. They are not working their shadow. They are just like, no, 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 everything's good. And yeah, we should all be spiritual and emotional. And I have this story with the person I was working at, that some point I was really frustrated with my work and what I was doing and how she was telling the instructions stuff. And I remember I was like, yeah, I'll be very conscious and I will go and directly tell her what I'm feeling. And I was like, I'm feeling very frustrated, owning my shadow. I'm feeling very frustrated because I feel that we're not advancing in the work and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what I told her. And if you're pushing us this way, that won't work for us. And she was like, no, 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 what do you need then for being happy? We don't have to get into a conflict. No, and she was like, so I was like, I'm trying to express my anger and my frustration. And you're telling me, no, 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 let's don't jump into frustration and anger. Let's just go make things good. And I was like, sometimes we don't have to go deeper into that feelings of uncomfort, discomfort, or anger or frustration. So you can work them out and transform them. We like emotions are that in motion. So we have the capability or the potential to really transforming them. But for transforming them, you first have to acknowledge them. Okay, so that's how we start creating that. No, and in this, I like this example because I don't know if you. There's a tradition here in Mexico that is called the temazcal, that is like an igloo, but it's like a sauna. So I don't know if you went to a sauna sometime, that sometimes it starts to being like so hot that even starts like hurting, no, like well hurting, or it's just like feeling unpleasant or feeling something like. And so many people is so afraid of feeling that they just no, I'll just go out of here because I cannot take this sensation. So I think that's what happens is like we are judging all the time our emotions and the sensations. And even if you had some pain in your arm or something, it's like depending on how your mind is built, it's like, oh, I'm going to die because this, I haven't felt this before. And we start creating a whole story, and that's what causes the suffering. So that's why we want to repress it. So instead of feeling, we can repress or suppress feelings or even physical sensations. No, instead of feeling a headache and really letting us deep into the headache, what do? We go straight to the pharmacy, straight to the drugstore to buy some medicine. So we suppress or we repress what we are feeling because it's unpleasant. And of course, it's because of the fear that we might die or it might evolve. But so many times that fear is just an illusion. So that's what I invite you to be aware of that. No, every emotion, every sensation, if we put the judgment out, it's just a sensation. And when you start seeing the anger just as an emotion, not good or bad, yeah, it's an emotion that maybe I don't like to feel, but it's not a bad emotion. They had condemned the emotion, but it's not bad. So when I make that change, I might open up to saying, okay, I don't like, it's like working out, no? I feel like maybe it's hurting if I make abs, my abs or my core is hurting at the next day, no? For so many people, that pain, it's enjoyable. Do you like the pain of making exercise and then enjoying I like it before when I was in soccer and stuff, and I really like was like, yeah, I make a lot of work, so I enjoy this pain in my legs or in my abs or whatever, no? But you enjoy that pain. But so many people, it's so afraid of feeling pain that it's like, no, I want to exercise because the pain, no, and they just hold back. So that's just an example. I don't know if you've ever enjoyed the feeling of pain because after running a lot or after, no, it's like it hurts, but it's okay because it's like something that makes you feel better. Are you related with that feeling, or have you ever? Okay, so that's how I now want you to feel or invite you to feel your emotions. Like, okay, this is anger. Yeah, it might hurt, or it might hurt, this pain or this sadness, but it's a good hurt because I'm acknowledging it. If I don't and try to suppress it, then of course it will create more shadow. But that's the first one, no? So I invite you to see these different emotions that they are mostly unpleasant for us as something, as that pain of our core pain, or that in the sauna kind of hot that is like, oh, okay, but it's okay. No, we don't judge that. So that's the first one. Suppression, when we do feel something, we're more aware of it, but we want to suppress it doing something else. No, and every time that you get more conscious into this, it's more interesting because I've seen so many times that myself, I just feel like something like, even if it's boredom or even if it's anxiety or worry, then I just go straight to Instagram. Like, but so many times. And then when I start getting like conscious about it, it's like, okay, instead of going there, I just stop and say, what am I feeling? And if it's just boredom, I just go to read a book instead of Instagram, no? But then I'm feeling really anxious about something that's coming or something that just passed. And then I go straight to Netflix, no? And that's what we have to be aware. When are we using really, it's not good or bad either, Netflix or Instagram. It's just, where are we choosing to enter those platforms, or the food, or even going out with friends? Oh, I feel so lonely today. Hello, friend, do you want to do something? Instead of being with our emotion. So that's why I invite you to be more conscious about these feelings, no? And how we tend to escape to those friends, platforms, food, whatever. No, so that's a great exercise for now on. And that's the first one, no? Suppression. Then repression. Repression is very likely to the suppression part, but it's something that we just forget it happened and I repressed. And this is more unconscious. This is something that our unconscious does because we feel so much pain that we repress it. You know, if we've been, or someone listening or someone outside our lives has been a victim of abuse, of any kind of abuse, sometimes we tend to repress it. No, because it's so much pain that I repress it, so I don't even have the memory of it. No, or whatever. It can be even like my mom didn't put my drawing in the fridge, and then I felt very hurted, and I repress that, and I don't even remember the drawing. No, or I've never drawn again, but I don't know why, because I repress those memories and I repress those feelings, and this is more at unconscious level. Okay, is that clear? Okay, and then the last one is denial. We so many times deny things that we don't want to not just embrace, but like to really acknowledge. So as an example, someone that her husband or wife is cheating, no, and you can just see all the signals, but say, no, that's not true, that's not possible, that's not. So you're on denial, no? Even like these processes of death and grief and something, like the first reaction of our mind as a protection is denying. No, this can be possible. No, this is not true. No, so we tend to deny it, and many people just lives on denial their whole life, even if it's like, my relationship is ending and I don't want to see the signs of it ending, so I just deny. Even if my partner wants to speak with me or something, I just say, no, everything's okay. And we deny things that are not okay for us outside as a mode of protection. These are like the mechanics, or how we build. And then with this being our the mechanism of how we build our shadow, we start feeling like this bucket. No, let's put this bucket of the rejected psychological energy, everything that we reject. So all the rejections, all the embarrassments, all the emotional wounds or annoyances or upsets, as I was telling you before, um, they might just be little drops, but they start filling a bucket. And that was what I was telling you with the balloon. We start just blowing and blowing and blowing, and they can be like, today, I don't know, my partner didn't tell me I was beautiful when I cut my hair. It's okay. So we see how we do this in our own lives. I will just put examples, and for sure you are very welcome to share your examples. But so many times we just make like, I don't know if you heard someone or being that person that something bothers you, or like, she didn't answer me my message, my friend or my partner, whoever, she or he didn't answer my message. Oh, but that's okay. No, right after saying he didn't or she didn't answer my message, that's okay. I don't hold any feelings towards it. The mere fact of saying that's okay is like saying I'm not okay with that, because if you were okay with that, you wouldn't even bring it up. I remember perfectly my grandmother, when all the times that I was with her, sometimes she said like, oh, your aunt hasn't written or like talked to me in a week or something, but that's okay. I mean, I know she has so many things to do, and so if you're bringing something out and then you put, but that's okay. No, it's this little drop that you're putting into a bucket of rejected psychological energy. So every time that we are more aware of that, it's like, okay, it's not okay. I don't have to go and shout the person that is not putting attention to me, but I can work it in me. No, and if I do want, like my grandmother could have talked to my aunt and say like, look, I really enjoy when you talk to me, can we talk more often, or I really feel like you are not caring of me, or that you don't care about me, so can we talk more often? So the fact of really be acknowledging that and being aware of that can give us the tools, one, to work it inside, and then to go act on something with that. Okay, so even if we feel that it's just a little drop, and that it was just a little comment, that it was annoying, or if we let it go, it's okay. But so many times we pretend we let it go and it goes in. I don't know if it happened in any relationship you have, but then it was like you explode someday, and it was like the water bottle, the water glass I told you, no? But something explodes, and then with your partner, let's say with your partner, and then it's like, this is the fourth time that you make this, and blah blah blah, and then it's like, but why didn't you tell me the first time? No, and the first time, like, oh, okay, it's okay. No, if you keep counting, if you put all together, like, it's not just this that you're making now, is, and you put all the list of things that had happened between you. No, that's where you're filling this bucket with every drop that you're making. No, so that's the importance of, even if it's a little drop, instead of just saying, yeah, it doesn't matter, just being aware. You don't have to spend 1 hour being aware of that feeling if it's a little drop, but just acknowledging that, oh, this comment, or that what she said or what he said really create discomfort on me. It doesn't have to be anger. This is comfort. So I go deep into that discomfort, and then I say, okay. I put you as an example. A few weeks ago, I was talking to a friend, and I offered her, like, in the Spanish workshops, sometimes I do exchange, no? So I offered her, like, I can exchange one of my workshops for one of your Theta healing sessions. And she was like, no, I do prefer the money, no? And I was like, wait, what? Like, why don't you want to accept this? No? And I could have had the option of saying, it's okay, it doesn't matter, no? And I will just pay her. But it really moved something in me, that I made the work and the shadow work and stuff, but it moved something. And if I just told her like, it's okay, I'll just pay it, my energy would have been dense. No, it would have been like, I'm not feeling good. So I decided to talk to her and say, look, I know it has value, and but I'm feeling like maybe you're not valuing that much my work, and also I know that's part of me. but I wouldn't feel comfortable or happy going to that session, or I wouldn't go with that much beautiful energy to the session. So I would prefer to wait and to work on myself, and we can share afterwards. And she was like, oh, okay, thank you for sharing, blah, blah, blah. For some people, the fact that you tell them that will make them uncomfortable or maybe angry, but that's their shadow work. Okay, you're making your shadow work, but that's the difference. No, instead of saying, oh, it's okay, it doesn't matter, it will just pass, it doesn't ever pass. It just, like, we just suppress it and it creates more shadow. So becoming aware of that gives us the tools so we can work on them and we can heal that part so it doesn't become part of our shadow. No, we illuminate that shadow. Okay, so as I told you before, we have the suppression, repression, and denial as a mechanism of building our shadow. But what are the blocks in our shadow? These three that you already said. No, fear, it's a big shadow material. Shame, it's a very big shadow material. And judgment for ourselves and for others. No, so let's say these persons or people here are building our unconscious and our tools for building building our shadow. This is our shadow, no? So, let's take this fear of failure, no? Let's put it here under shadow material. Oh, let's put this shame that I have, I don't know, of not shaving myself and going to a party unshaved, no? That's shame that I could feel if I would go that way. Oh, let's put it here. Let's put this judgment that I feel that I'm not enough. Let's put it here, no? So let's see how we start creating all this wall or building of shadow based on these mainly three different blocks of shadow material: fear, shame, and judgment. Shame, it's a big one because when we grow little, we start accumulating and having this unworked part of shame that we have. So I would invite you to share something that you, even though if you were ashamed of, or that you still feel ashamed of, no? And so I would love you even to write on your notebook. This is like an exercise for you. So I'll give you 2 minutes to write this, like it can be 3 columns or just 3 rows of fear, shame, and judgment, and put everything that comes up to you for this work. No, I'm afraid of failing, I'm afraid of rejection, I'm afraid of spiders, even, no, I'm afraid of whatever you are afraid of. Then shame, I've felt, even if it's past shame or actual shame, no, like I might be ashamed of showing my body to someone naked because I'm not fully, no, like I don't fully embrace my body, or I'm ashamed of arriving late to an appointment. Whatever shame comes to you, and judgment, even if it's judgment for yourself, like I'm not doing that good enough, I'm not doing that much, I'm too lazy, and whatever comes to you, I'll give you 2 minutes. It's something 19 depending on wherever you are, but I'll give you 2 minutes to write that down. I'll put some music on. And when you are done with time, Okay. I know you're still writing maybe, and I know this is an exercise. Like everything that we see here, you can deepen more into that afterwards. If you are hearing the recording, you can just pause it and finish your writing. But as I was writing now too, I was like, yeah, I should take like 20 minutes on this. So I invite you to take more time after the workshop, even in the week, to complete like these things. And yeah, and I will also share with you, because if I want you to explore deeper into your shadow, I should also like share. I shouldn't, I want to. But now that I was making this exercise with you, I feel also the judgment of not being good enough, that it's always coming back, no, that I'm, now that I also make proposals for companies, no, and in social and environmental consciousness, and then I put a price, and it's like, oh, but what is it too much, and I'm not good enough like to deliver that value, no, and all that is something that I've been working, and I think I've got better and better every time. And also it's always like something about value, and yeah, the value of, and not being enough for reaching that value, no, even if it's money or even if it's whatever. So that's, I think, the one of the judgments and fear, the fear of failing, and also rejection. As I told you before, in the workshop, it's like, for in workshops, I sometimes, my mind struggles with the, it's not enough people, and I have to deliver this amount of content and of time, and if it's not that much, is, and so I struggle with that sometimes, and the fear of failing, and it being not good enough. I think it's all of a cycle. And as that, we can recognize little thing that, as big as it can be, or as little as it can be, like, I'm afraid of showing my body, or I'm ashamed of this part of my body, or I'm ashamed of this little thing like farting can be, no, or something like that. It's very important to go really deep. So I really invite you to go deeper into this exercise, and put everything that you, even if it's very little, because as we saw, those little drops also come from the big bucket of our shadow. But going deep into that can help you really to start healing. You know, why, where does it come, this part of me being ashamed of doing something that's very natural for the body? And that can be dancing, and that can be, no, how much do we repress our self-expression and our self, no, like, I remember sometime I had like a bachelor party. I don't know if, like, when my friend is getting married, is it's a, if, is that bachelor party? Okay. And we hired someone with like a pole dancing teacher. And she was like so expressful, and she was moving so sexy and stuff. And I was like, I would be very ashamed to do that. But just watching her, like, this should be very natural for us. No, I want to be more like her. But we just think, and see that every shame, every fear, it's built by us, but helped by society. So if society told us like showing our bodies as women or as men wasn't the correct thing, that's what we are ashamed of. No, if our parents told us that we shouldn't scream, or that not putting a proper, no, it's the pants or a shirt, it's not good for going to, then that's how it starts becoming part of our shadow, and our shames, our fears, and our forgot the other one, our shame, fear, and judgment. No, and but yeah. So thank you for sharing and making that work, and also sharing with us. And I do encourage you to go deeper into that after, like, not right after this workshop, but in the week, no, and being more aware of every time you were facing that. Okay, so I love this example, because this is how it works, what I was telling you, know, how we start creating our own shadow. So when we are born, we are this beautiful light with beautiful, no, we can say our essence, our soul, and we are this beautiful light with all our creativity, authenticity, and everything we are, and we're all this light. You know, what happens when we start growing, even if it's parents, teachers, society, friends, everyone has an impact on ourselves, and we're not conscious of that until we start making it conscious. But then all these layers or blankets, if you want to say it, start coming and telling us like, this beautiful essence you are, you should hold it, because people don't like when you shine too much. And I'm being metaphorical, no? But when you shout, when you dance, when you express yourself, so people don't like that. So you should put a blanket on that. Or people don't like these specific characteristics on a body, so we should cover that. And we start covering all that, even if it's physical, emotional, no? People don't like when you're angry, so just cover it a little bit more, no? Everything that people or society or our culture tell us it's okay or it's bad, that starts covering our essence, our authenticity. And at some point, it's just like, oh my God, now we're all covered. And that light that we start feeling that there's no more light. So we start like, that's our shadow, right? Creating our own shadow with all those things that come into consideration because of that. And that's how it starts building our shadow. So that's why we think we are not enlightened and not spiritually talking, no? That we are not this bright light that we are in the deepness of ourselves. And every time it can become more in the outside if we start working on it, no? But that's how it works. And then, so we have our self-identity, so how we perceive ourselves. And yeah, I'm this powerful woman, and I can do everything by myself, and everything that I want to perceive myself. And then there's our true personality, no? How we really are. So when no one's watching, what am I doing? Even sometimes when no one's watching, we still repress our true personality, no? But so this self-identity and true personality, when we are working and every time we work more our shadow, they start becoming the same. But if not, we're this mask or this projection we want to show others. Oh no, I'm in total control of my feelings. I never feel anger, no? And specifically, for example, myself, no? If I'm talking to you of these shadows and this work of enlightenment and whatever I want to talk of consciousness, sometimes for me it's difficult, maybe making a mistake or feeling angry because I feel I'm not that enlightened, no? So if I haven't worked my shadow that much, I would just say every time like, no, I'm just perfect and I never feel angry and stuff. And how I perceive myself or how I show to others might not be the true personality of me. So even that's why it's very important to embrace our light. It's not that easy to embrace our light either. We will get to that, but our light and also our shadow. How many people you know that they find their defects or opportunity areas just very fast, and when you tell them, but what are you good at? No, I don't know. I don't think I'm good at that many things, no? And there's the other part that is like, I'm good at this, and this, and I cannot find any opportunity area. And not because they are, like very presumptuous or something, but just it's really something that sometimes is difficult to find because we can be very aware of our light, but we don't want to embrace our shadow, or vice versa. Okay, so our shadow work will just help us make these two circles one, no? Like our how we perceive ourselves and how we show to the others is how we truly are. So we can continue on this. Okay, so I have another exercise, very fun exercise. So in your notebook or piece of paper that you have, write like as a topic the world is, and you can put like 2 points or 3 points, and then you make a division on the paper and you put a line, and then you put number 1 to 5, and you put on one side like a minus and the other one like a plus, like the negative and the positive. Okay. Okay, so what we will do, I think you're assuming that, but just in these 2 or 3 minutes that I'll give you, just write on the left part of your paper, that is the minus part here. Don't put attention yet to the positive part, just the negative part. 5 adjectives how you describe the world. It's not what's happening in the world. It's just like the world is an adjective. Just 5 of them. Okay, so I'll give you 2-3 minutes. Whenever you're done, you just raise your hand and just that. So 5 adjectives for how you perceive the world. It doesn't have to do what's happening here, like negative adjectives, okay? I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes and just let me know when you're done. Okay, so you can share now or afterwards the other side, but now let's jump another 1 or 2 minutes for the positive side. And save that exercise for a few minutes later that we'll get back to it. But just circle number 3. So by far you should have the topic the world is, and then your 5 positive adjectives and the 5 negative adjectives, and circle number 3 on each side. Okay, so before continuing with this exercise, let's see, where do we find the shadow? Like, how do we see our own shadow if it's that thing that we don't want to recognize and that we keep pushing apart and stuff? So there are many forms that we can find our shadow, but the 2 main like forms that we can see our unconscious projected is, number 1, in the mirror. And I'm not speaking in a real mirror. No, it's like, oh yes, I will see the no, but the mirror, I'm sure you've heard sometime or been familiar with the term of the projection, no, the mirror. So everyone outside us, its people and situation, are just a mirror of ourselves. No, that's how the unconscious, the ego, and our shadows we can see them, because how the unconscious work and how it tries to protect us, it's like we put repress, suppress, and deny many things that we don't want to face, even if it's pain or something that we have trouble handling. So we repress that, but so many times it's so full inside that the unconscious or our selves has to put it out. So how do we start putting our shadow out? It's on the other people. No, we start judging other people and just getting angry with other people. And if we are not conscious or aware of that, we'll just keep doing that, not knowing that it's just our own projection. We'll dig deeper into this in the next diapositives. I don't know how to say it, but on the next ones. So that's one. And the other one, the unconscious has, like, well, our dreams are the unconscious. So our dreams are also a big door on knowing how our shadow is projected. So every nightmare we have, I don't know if you've had nightmares recently or in the past years, but every nightmare we have, it's just our shadow projected in our dreams. No, if like, even if it's like, even if in our normal dreams, if we are angry with someone in our normal dreams, or we are uncomfortable with some situation in the dreams, that's one way to identify our shadow. So it's like, oh, I dream out with some tiger, but I was very afraid of that tiger. So that's how we start, like, acknowledging our shadow through dreams. And also in nightmares, nightmares is a way of the unconscious to release trauma. So it also, like, even though we think that they are bad, no, like, we don't want to have nightmares. If we didn't really have nightmares, it's worse for us if we live some kind of trauma in our past, even if it was maybe a war or an abuse or something that we like traumatized and we repressed. So if we repress something, it can come out as dreams. No, that's why many people that went to the war have like these recurring dreams on the same scene or something, because it was so traumatized for them that it's like this form of liberating the energy of that trauma. So that's why it's, instead of saying like, no, my nightmares, no, Nightmares have a huge energy that we can transform and acknowledge. And I will share with you afterwards some tools and authors that help you work with that. As I was telling you before, the Charlie Morley, it's one of them. But that's one part. So in order to start working our shadow or keep working our shadow, noticing our dreams, nightmares, and yeah, whatever we dream can help us. And the other one, as I told you, it's the projections. Everything we see in the outside is inside first. So how to work the shadow, how to heal through working the shadow, how to improve our relationship with this work. First, we need these four like skills or attributes that we can use. No, as I was telling you before, first is love, and it's this like self-love and compassion. The shadow work, and Charlie Morley says it. The one of the books I read about shadow work, it was from Charlie Morley, that is called Dreaming Through Darkness, because he works a lot with them. I will put all the books written down for you and send to you. But it was beautiful because he said, like, you will see that shadow work, it's all about love. And I love that, no, because it's like, of course, as soon as we start embracing and loving every aspect of ourselves, it's easier to embrace our shadow. So entering this shadow work, like, now we've seen a lot of theory and about a lot of content and some exercises, but it's not really getting deep into the shadow. A little bit, yes, when you start identifying your fears and stuff, but the stronger shadow work, it comes afterwards. And it's not just like you can just go one day and say, yeah, I will work my shadow. We all say that it's fearful and that we're afraid of getting into that shadow. And if we don't enter in the right like mood and with the right tools, it would just be like a disaster, because it's like, yeah, I'm afraid to do that. And if I don't do it with the right tools, I will just go there and face my biggest fears. And then of course I will like go straight into the wall, and it won't be a pleasant or something that makes me feel safe. So we will just reject that work. So that's why this is important. No, first, love, entering with this self-compassion that we will work a little bit in this workshop. Then awareness, identifying my shadow, and that's like consciousness and awareness are two of the most important skills we need to develop, not just in shadow work, but like in spiritual work. Then courage, of course, of facing our fears. No, this demands a lot of courage and vulnerability for us to work our shadow. No, so we have to just know this so we can enter more prepared to the shadow work. And one of my favorites is responsibility. And I will get deeper in the next diapositives. But something really impressive for me, I've known this, like, I know we all know responsibility for, like, since we were kids, they all tell us like, be responsible and responsible of your actions and your words and stuff. But I think these concepts gets like really little compared to what it really is, because when you take absolute responsibility of your life, of your emotions, of your thoughts, it changes completely, and you take a lot of you regain your power to change situations. So we'll get deeper into this, but these are like four of the main skills we need for our shadow work. So the first one, love. Every time that you're making shadow work, not just in this workshop, because I invite you, and I hope you continue making this work by yourself, even if it's journaling or meditating and stuff. But we need to be centered. How do we center ourselves? It can be with breathing, it can be with meditations. You can have like a guided meditations or stuff. We will make a little one now, and I'll try to make some for you, so I'll share the audio for afterwards. Because if we are not centered, when we're not centered, it means that we can attach easily to whatever is outside of us. So that's why we go into the traffic and we are very stressed out, because we attach with the outer situation and we're not centered in ourselves. So when we are talking about shadow work, if we are not centered with this breathing work, or maybe a meditation before, like it can be a 2 or 3 minute meditation, but if we face some fear, or if we contact again anger, we can just attach to that feeling and feel that we are that in that moment. So it will be like very difficult to see the emotion from outside. So that's why we have to center ourselves before, and also have a lot of self-compassion. We tend to judge ourselves so much, and even this shadow work is like, remember the shadow work if everything that we have repressed or deny of ourselves. So it's not like someday, if I've been all my life trying to deny something that I am, no, like I'm not unpunctual, or I'm not I don't know, uncompassionate. I always try to be compassionate, and then in my shadow work I notice that I am not compassionate with some people, maybe not with everyone, but with some people. That will be a huge hit or punch for our ego, not for ourselves, for our ego. No, we also I also share with you that whatever hurts us, it's in our ego. No, it's like, no, I'm not good enough, no, I'm not that compassionate, no, no, whatever, it's in our ego. So when we detach, also that's what centering ourselves is for. It's like, oh, it hurts, yeah, but it hurts my ego. It doesn't hurt me really, it hurts my ego. So this self-compassion is like, oh, I've been this way all my life. Don't worry, Savannah, that you have to go. I'll send you the recording for the last part. Okay, so every time that we choose to be more compassionate with ourselves and more accepting, it's like, okay, I know I'm going to see parts of myself that I always denied, but they are not good or wrong. No, when we quit or take off the judgment, it's easier. But then it's like entering this space for self-compassion, and I can also share afterwards like some self-compassion techniques, or self-love. Is okay, I will enter this space without judging emotions, without judging myself or my past or present actions. So that's how we enter. So I will just make like a 2-minute meditation example, similar to what I make in the beginning, but just like for you to know, and you, whenever you want to work your shadow, you can just extend this meditation to center yourself. So I again invite you to be with your back straight, and start breathing and close your eyes. And maybe in this very moment you're feeling excited, or you're feeling kind of with a lot of information in your mind, or afraid of going into the shadow work. All those feelings are okay, and we're just coming back to our center to detach for each one of those feelings. Inhale and focus on how your chest expands and contracts with each breathing. Let the emotions and the thoughts just come by, come in and go out as we breathe, and start centering yourself. You can even picture yourself or a shiny light, like a small sphere of light, or many spheres of light around you, coming into your center. You can choose the center to be in your heart chakra, or in your heart, like your solar plexus, or wherever you feel your center is in this very moment. Can also be between your heart and your stomach. And start to visualize how all these lights, like little spheres of light, that they are dancing around, that maybe thoughts or maybe feelings, they start coming together to that center. They start going back to your center. All those parts of you that are difuminated, all around there, just start getting back to the center, creating a bigger sphere of light. And that sphere of light, I want you to put them first, love inside that sphere, And you can tap into that love just thinking of someone or something you really love. It can be a pet, or it can be a familiar, a parent, partner, friend, someone towards you feel a lot of love. And let you connect with that love and see how you accept that person, that pet, or that situation you love without judgment. If you have a little kid around, even if it's your son or if it's some nephew, see how you relate with that child, and you don't judge that child. You just love him or her as they are. That love, that acceptance, I wanted to put it inside this beautiful sphere of light that we will use in our shadow work. Keep breathing, inhaling, and exhaling, seeing how that sphere of light starts to grow bigger and bigger until it covers your whole body. This is a sphere of light, is a sphere of protection. Is your own light, your own love, self-compassion, acceptance. And even if it's physically or just visualizing that, visualize or do it, hug yourself. And be that protection for yourself in this very moment. Embrace the whole self of you with love and acceptance. You can repeat on your mind, I am ready and willing to enter and to illuminate my shadow. I am ready and open to see all the things that I've denied and rejected about myself, and I embrace each and every part of me with love and acceptance. As you keep breathing, you can repeat, I love myself, and I have and find the courage to do the shadow work. And every time my shadow, even in this workshop or outside, comes out, I choose to see it with love and acceptance, knowing that anything is good or wrong. And then I can let go all the judgments and fears toward this work. Breathe in fully and deeply. And exhale. You're all centered. You're all loved. And you're ready to start. So whenever you feel ready, you can start opening your eyes and moving your neck around. Coming back to your center. And you can do this exercise every time you need, not just for shadow work, for all time. Like if you're in traffic and you're stressed, or you're at some like scary place, like the scary place, I'm talking not just like a creepy place that you're in, but like this scary place before a presentation that you're afraid to give the presentations, whatever, you can just make a 1 or 2 minutes of centering yourself, breathing, and also you can visualize like everything coming to your center. That can work. And I'll share more of these meditations, guided meditations for you. But okay, this was an example and also a preparation for these last tools that we will see. So, okay, doing this, it helps us to accept like things we normally wouldn't accept, no? Like, no, I've never done that before, no? Or I've never felt that way. So, have you ever felt, you will just tell me yes, even if it's written, or just saying yes with your head. Have you ever felt judged in your life? Yeah. Everyone, I know it sounds like a silly question, but have you ever felt unseen by others? Yeah. Okay. Have you ever felt unvalued at work, at a relationship, okay, we all relate with that. Have you ever said to someone, you bring the worst out of me? Or maybe just not say it, but just think that, like, he brings the worst out of me. No, I'm not like this. You just make me, you make me this way. Have you ever felt that way or said that to someone? Kind of, or not that much? Okay, so I ask this because we'll get deeper in our shadow work. First, all judgments and interpretations are just expression of our own thoughts and needs. What is this coming from? If we go back, if we felt judged anytime, like I think my friend judged me because I'm not working that much, or because I'm not that successful. Or I had a friend the other day that I was talking to, that she told me, like, I didn't go to that friend's appointment because I was very scared that we will get like in the topic of success, no, or what have you done with your life, or something like that. And I was very scared that he will judge me because I haven't accomplished most of the things that people at my age have accomplished. No, so that fear of being judged, or feeling that someone's judging us, even if it's real that someone's judging me. Let's say I paint my hair pink, no, and I go outside and someone tell me that your hair looks strange, or your hair looks terrible, no, even if someone is judging me, it wouldn't matter if I wouldn't judge myself first. Okay, so how does this work, and how does our shadow and everything in our relationships work? One, everything we feel we will be judged by, we will project or we will attract. So for example, people that are like gay people, no, if they are full, and I say gay just as an example, I can say just like a woman or whatever we can relate to. If I feel like I can be judged because being a woman, no, and that they will judge me if I decide to be a mom and work, or if I decide to be a mom and not to work, no, those judgments are inside me and I project them outside. So if I project them outside as part of my shadow, I will find people that like clearly judge me and tell me, like, oh no, you shouldn't be working, or you should be working, no. Or I will just have the idea in my mind that the other people is judging me. No, for example, if I have my hair pink and I go outside and I see someone looks at me and then take look to the other side, and if I judge myself, I will say, I surely she doesn't like my hair, no, surely, and I will start creating a whole story about how people don't accept me or judge me or whatever, because I judge myself first. Okay, so this is very, very important, because every time you feel judged, unseen, or unvalued, is that you are judging yourself, unseeing yourself, or unvaluing yourself. Okay, this might be a hard, maybe, or not that hard, and you say like, oh, okay, but then we have to integrate it and saying like, oh, okay. So for example, no, if in my work I'm feeling that, as I told you this example with my friend, no, that I feel she didn't value my work, that's my projection, because I don't know if she values that or not. No, she didn't tell me, no, I don't value that. Yeah, and even if she did, that's just a projection that I'm not valuing either my job or her job. No, everything is a projection, and we dig deeper into that in just a few moments, but everything is just a projection. So if I'm feeling judged, it's because first I'm judging myself. So I will invite you just to write down, or just to make some consciousness about that. What have you felt judged in the last few days or weeks? No, you don't have to tell me, you just spill it, and then I will ask you after the workshop in some other part to write it, no, because it's really important. What have I felt judged by? It can be something physical of myself. It can be because I talk too much. It can be because I don't arrive early to the appointments. So everything that I feel that I'm being judged is because I'm judging myself first. Okay. And every judgment and interpretation is just an expression of my own thoughts, as I was telling you, and also my needs. So if I'm also judging someone outside, it's just an expression of my own judgments, and my needs, no, what I need from that other person or what I need to give myself. Okay. So that's why it's important to bring this awareness into ourselves. And so to begin identifying our shadow, these questions are really, really powerful. So we already took the what am I most afraid of, so you can just write it to make it afterwards, our fears. So this is interesting. What lies about myself do I tell others? No, I've never done that. No, I've never I don't know, I've never arrived late to an appointment. Or there might be something really simple or something really deep about, like, no, I've never thought about hitting someone, no. And you had, I don't know. But what lies do you think or you tell others about yourself? No, I feel totally fine. That doesn't bother me. No, that's a lie. That is, if it's bothering you, then it can be with your partner. No, you're okay. Everything is okay. No, and you deny something and you tell, that can be a good lie. No, like, no, I'm perfectly with this situation and you're not. No, if you're digging into something else, or maybe you have a business partner and they want to make something different and you are just saying you're okay not to create a conflict or something, that's a lie you can be telling to others about yourself. The shame, we also did it already. And what do I hide from others? What personal habits cause me pain? Okay, this can be like, I feel I eat too much. I feel I should be doing more exercise. I don't do any exercise. I watch too much TV. What personal habits cause me pain? Or I overreact every time. No, even if I'm with someone that's trying to help me, I overreact and I explode and blah blah blah. No, that cause me pain. Then what part of my body I least happy with? No, it can be my hips, my breast, my skin, whatever. No, and yeah, if you can remember, this is not for now but for later, what are the themes or topics of your dreams that cause you more anxiety? I always dream with being chased by a tiger. I always dream with my ex-boyfriend being angry at me. I do dream that often. Something, no, like something repetitive or something that causes me a lot of anxiety in my dreams. Sometimes in my dreams, myself, I like wake up, or I feel I wake up but I cannot move or I cannot see, or that causes me a lot of anxiety. No, so if we start identifying that, we start also identifying our shadow. Okay, so even you can screenshot this or you can write it down. Just I'll give you 2 minutes to write about the number 1, no, number 3 and number 4. Okay, so just write down the answers. You don't have to write all the question, but the answers of those two. What personal habits cause me pain? And what part of my body I'm least happy with? I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes. Perfect. If you want to share, you can put it on the chat. If you don't, it's okay. I'll share with you mine. I think the parts of my body that I'm least happy with, like from a few years from now, it's like my skin, like even my face skin and shoulder skin, because of some pimples that I have that I've been like trying to work on them. But I think that's one. And my, not anymore that much, but maybe before was my inner thighs, that they were not as perfect as the world told us to them should be. Okay, those are the two. And I think an habit that caused me pain is losing too much time on Instagram or on my cell phone. Okay, and then whatever you want to share, you can share it on the chat, or if someone wants to open their microphone, you're welcome. If you don't, it's also okay. Okay. Perfect. So all these questions, even though we already answered some of them, I will encourage you to dig deeper into them and take more time to make these exercises, because that's how we start identifying our shadows. Okay. So I was talking you about the responsibility, and I told you it's not just like being responsible of my actions and my emotions, and well, most of the people just take it to the actions, no? They like take responsibility of the consequences of your actions. But so many people don't really take full responsibility and absolute responsibility when we talk about our emotions. You can see when someone's taking full responsibility of them as a whole, as you hear them speak. No, if I tell you, you make me angry, am I taking responsibility, or am I leaving the responsibility outside? What do you think? If I tell you're making me angry,
maybe leaving the responsibility outside.
you say outside? Yeah. Yeah, because it's like you are making me angry, no? Instead, if you hear something or you say, I'm getting angry because of your action, that's very different. Even though it may sound the same, one, I'm leaving that you're making me angry, no, or sad, or you hurt me. Even though saying you hurt me, that's putting the responsibility outside ourselves. So when I say I feel hurt, I felt angry, I felt, no, because of this situation, or because of you making this, or blah blah blah, that's regaining my responsibility. Because if you make me angry, I cannot change it because it's on you. But if I'm feeling angry because of something you did, I can also change. So that's how we start creating responsibility, one, in our emotions, no? Also, when we, like in the judgments I told you, it's not the others what's causing me pain, anger, blah 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 blah. It's my projection of my own shadow. So that's taking responsibility, and responsibility is one of the tools that they might not be easy to when you start, maybe because we prefer so many times to be the victims of our reality, you know, like all this is happening to me. And I love really there's this author that's called Michael Beckwith. Then he speaks about a lot the 4 levels of consciousness. So the first one is the victim stage, in which everything happens to us. No, they fired me from my job, and they make me feel this way, and my situation is what it is because of everything outside. No, we can even blame God, the universe, Mother Nature. We can blame the president because of the economic situation. We can blame everything outside. That's in the victim stage. And then there's the second stage that he calls the manifestor. So when we are in the manifesting stage, for saying that way, we are creating our own reality. No, it's instead of life happening to me and everything happening to me, life starts to happen by me. No, I create different things. I start taking more responsibility. Then the other one is the channeler, that is like life happens to to go through me, no? Life happens through me. So that's where we are more connected with nature, with the energies, with, like, I will not be like very deep into that because it will take a lot. And the last stage of consciousness is the being one, no? Like when life happens as us, no? When we are very connected to nature, so we feel, and I can feel what you're feeling, and that's where we connect, and we don't see ourselves separated from each other, no? But what do I tell you this? Because in the victim stage, like what's useful for us right now is like just like the victim stage and the responsible one. We will just take those stages on consciousness. So it's not that if we are responsible and we like jump to that stage, we will remain always in that stage. It's like the spiral I was telling you, no? So we are sometimes at the victim stage and sometimes at the responsible stage. But every time we start creating more awareness and we identify more our shadow and everything we're working, it begins like part of our second nature being responsible, no? Well, it's part of our nature, but we also so many times forget it, no? So it's as if we start learning anything, the first time we learn maybe to drive a car, like I don't know the name of in English, when it's not automatic. I don't remember.
Manual?
Yeah, well, manual, yeah. So it's the same.
Yeah.
Okay, the manual one. So maybe sometimes at the beginning it's very stressful and you have to make sense of everything, no? The clutch and the hand, the how we move the speeds and stuff. And so it becomes very complicated until it becomes your second nature. So that's what happens also with responsibility and everything new we learn. So at the beginning is kind of unpleasant and kind of difficult, but then it's just a magical thing to do, and we begin every time more responsible. No, so responsibility is we are not in control, but we can change, and we are responsible of creating our reality, and our like responsible of our emotions and also of our thoughts and everything. So that's the responsibility I want to share with you, in the case that it's not anything, it's outside, nothing, it's outside of us. No, we have not the duty, just like the opportunity to work on it inside, so we will project it different outside. Okay, and I will get with this example, it may get clearer. So I don't know if you are familiar with the piñatas, that they are more, these are, raise your hand if you're familiar with the piñatas. Okay, so mostly all of you. Okay, the piñatas, maybe they are these, I don't know how to, like, we use it at parties, mostly in Mexico. And we fill them with, well, can someone tell me what's inside the piñatas mainly?
Candy?
Candies. Okay, we fill them with candies, no? So the piñatas are filled with candies, and in the parties, mostly for small kids, they start hitting the piñatas, and when it breaks, the candies just fall out, and all the kids go running for the candies, no? You should watch a video or something, because it's a really interesting custom. But with that reference, what do you get when you hit a lot the piñata? As you said before, no? The candies. You get the candies. And what do you get when you hit or even like cut with all your force the coconut? What do you get? Yeah, you can participate.
Okay, yummy coconut water, yummy coconut to make lots of smoothies, and
Exactly.
ice
Coconut
cream
water,
and
coconut,
whatever.
the coconut. But I put you this example because when I asked you, when you say like you bring out the worst of me, no, and you bring this that I don't have, you bring it out of me. So we wouldn't express anything that is not within us. Even when we hit the piñata or we hit and open the coconut with, like with the knife or anything, it just comes what it's inside. So we cannot blame others to get out the worst of us, because that's, if we wouldn't have it inside, we wouldn't project it outside, or we wouldn't take it out. No, people that, I don't know if you've heard or you've done that, no? Like, he bothered me so much that I hit him, no? Or that I used violence. I had no other choice, no? Or this, someone who's not connected to violence would ever even think about hitting someone, no? Because it's not inside of them. Someone who grew up maybe in situations when they had to use violence or hitting or something to protect themselves, or if they learn that way, that's what they will get out, no? So that's the example. We wouldn't bring anything out that's not inside of us. We wouldn't see anything outside that's not inside of us. Okay, so going back to the, do you have your exercise of the world is? Okay, open it in that page, and then put a line on in the topic, like cross it, and instead of the world is, you will write I am, and you will see whatever you wrote. No, I am, and now we can share what we put on the. Remember, everything we're seeing here is without judgment. No, so if I put something really terrible, it's not terrible. It just is. No, so that's why we need self-compassion, acceptance, and everything, because we'll say like, oh no, I am not like that. Okay, so everything we see outside, it's because it is inside. So I will very gladly hear whatever you wrote on your. We can start with the negative part. Okay, the world is overwhelming, scary, hurtful, peaceful, loving, and healing. The first three. Okay, perfect. And you can also like open your microphone or just put it on the chat. The 3 or the 5, it doesn't matter. Like, you're going now, we'll do it. I know you already wrote it in the chat, but we'll do now a second presentation of ourselves. Before we kind of present ourselves, I am Paulina and I love doing this and my shadow is like this. But now we are opening up to our real shadow and golden shadow too. So we will present ourselves like that. If you want, I will start with our presentations. So I am Paulina and I am chaotic, I am dirty, I am angry, I am nonsense, and I didn't put the last one because nothing else came to my mind. And I'm also beautiful, magnificent, lovely, amazing, and illuminated. Okay, so that's who I am now that I'm opening up with you, and I would love to hear you. And I will just recommend you to not use but, just say I'm also, no, because every time we say but, we're like denying all the first thing we say. Even if it's like you're saying like, I understand you, but I think different. You like, this is a recommendation for life. But in this, well, in this very specific exercise, it's also empowering to embrace our light, because our shadow, because if we're saying I'm all this, wrong or bad, but I'm also this, it's like we didn't say the first part. So I'm this and also I'm this. Okay. So I find this exercise super interesting and also fun. And I also think it might bring some emotions for us that I would love you to, like, how did you feel when hearing the others, like shadow and bright side, and also you're like presenting yourself as everything that you wrote? I would love to hear how you felt. Yeah, that's the amazing part, and thank you for sharing and for opening up, because for me sometimes it's like, oh, I know when it's something very strong, no, like maybe I can, yeah, for, I don't know, for me that I wrote, where is it? Yeah, chaotic. Yeah, I can see how I am chaotic, no? But then when I read, and of course this is all on my own judgments, and you will have like yours in yourself, and but when I read dirty, and I like, no, in which parts of me am I like that? No. So this exercise, it's really interesting, and also, as you said, Alice, like it's much more easier because every time we think of ourselves, we can identify some things, no? Like, yeah, I'm maybe messy, or I might be fearful of some things, but our unconscious and our ego will always try to push down the things that we really don't want to accept. So when we put, as you were saying, no, maybe I don't know where I'm overpopulated, or I'm lonely, or I'm where. So we all know now, and we're making this shadow work, that is something we want and we can work on. And I want to explain you a little bit more of how this works, so we can like not just knowing that, well, yeah, now I have to work in. No, like how we work in and how is it reflected on us. And we're almost finishing, but I will explain you, and then whoever wants to, because I know it's late there, to deepen, or we can make another one. It will also be cool. But let me just explain this, and then we can deep digger into one of your examples. No, just to note, if you circle the number 3, the number 3 unconsciously is a number. Well, it's a number that the unconscious kind of puts more. I don't know how to explain it really good, but the unconscious number 3 is related a lot with the unconscious. So what you put on number 3, it's one of the most arising, like even positive or negative for you. This is unconscious. It's not something like, so I don't know, my 3 was what was it? Angry and lovely. No, and then you say like, but they are so different, like they are the same in the opposite. They are opposite. How can you be angry and lovely? Well, we can be angry and lovely at the same time. No, that's also embracing part of who we are. It's like, yeah, I'm lovely, but I'm also angry. And if you remember, I told you I was struggling with being angry, so that's why it's my third one. No, and if you are having trouble maybe with identifying, like, or some of it doesn't make sense, I think with this next explanation, it will make more sense that you are maybe something that you think you're not, or your ego is telling you that you are not, but that we all are or project. So we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. And I love to share this saying in Spanish, that is, lo que te choca, te checa. So it sounds cool, but what it means is what shocks you or what makes you angry from other person is what fits you. So if I'm angry at some, like we make this exercise with the world, so it makes it easier because it's something like we can make it about this pen, so it's an animated, so we don't have like that much engagement with that. We can also make this, and this is a great exercise, to make it to people, with someone we're struggling with, that I think that will be as homework. But this is like the essence, no? The world is the essence of every other exercise you will make with people, no? Lo que te choca, te checa. So what shocks you or what gets you angry or sad or something fits you. What does that mean? So for the homework exercise, you will choose a person who generates an unpleasant emotion on you. No, when my mom makes me so angry because she never lets me go on with my dreams, and my partner makes me really angry because he never, he's always, I don't know, he never washes the dishes, no? Something like that. And then you will define what that person does that makes you feel that way, and transform that action to adjectives, just as we did with the world, no? If my partner doesn't washes the dishes, what's the adjective of that action? No, so I may think he is lazy or he is irresponsible. So it's very important to translate the actions to adjectives, okay? Because that's, as we see in the world, something that we are projecting outside. Now, sometimes it will be difficult to really understand what is that we are projecting. This is the exercise of the mirror, no? As we saw before, is our shadow comes on dreams or mainly on the projections on our mirrors. So everything, it's a mirror of ourselves. If we wake up one day and say, oh, what beautiful day now that it's raining, no, I'm in love and it's raining, and the other day it's like, oh no, this day is so sad because the rain, no, it has nothing to do with the rain. it has to do with how are we feeling that day. So that's what we have to acknowledge in order to know our shadow and work our shadow. No, so this is the example. No, if he or she shouts a lot, maybe I define her as scandalous. No, so that's what I have to really focus on to work on. No, so how is this shadow projected? Who we are and we deny. No, maybe I hate when people arrive late to appointments. No, so and I always I always arrive on time. So I don't see the match. But then I see that maybe in my own processes or my own meals or my own appointments with myself, no, when I have to go study something with myself or meditating or something, I am not punctual or not, I don't arrive in time to that, no, or I don't give myself enough time for that. So it's who I am that I deny, no, that I am, no, or I don't feel my partner values me. Well, maybe I'm not valuing myself at some point, no, or who I used to be that I'm not in peace with, no. Maybe this fits for some people, no. I used to be this very violent person, or I used to be very like being in scarcity mode all the time and feeling poor and don't having enough money. But now I have money, but I don't stand the people that say they don't have money. It's not because I don't have money anymore, but it's because I am not fully embraced who I was. Is it clear for you? So that's the other one. And the third part is who I secretly wish to be. No, I secretly wish to be that way. So if we find someone in the street that's dancing and that's shouting and that's like calling the attention, I can say, oh, I hate that person because it's calling the attention. I don't like to call the attention. Like, I don't like her calling the attention. No, secretly, I want to be that way, but I don't allow myself to be that way. We can see that when someone who's calling attention, or maybe who's someone who maybe you go to a party and she moves so freely and so like I don't care about others, and you say, oh no, I don't like that. Secretly, I want to be that way, but I don't allow myself to be that way. So that's why it gets me really angry, or I hate that, or I don't like that. No, so this for me is like the most fun experience. At the beginning is like, oh, I'm not that way, we don't like to accept that, but then it just becomes very fun. And every time that you're going to get angry because of something, it's not that you don't get angry, it's just that you don't attach to the anger and keep going on that, and you don't blame the other one for making you feel something. It's like, oh, okay, I see, as the example I told you, as my friend, it's not that I like she doesn't value my work. Like, I'm not angry with her and she's not the bad guy or woman. It's just like I'm not valuing myself at some point. And I can see in my work, I'm not valuing or I'm not seeing the value. So it's very scary for me to put a price. And I'm also, that's too, I'm also not valuing my friend's work because I don't want to pay for that. I want to exchange it. No, so it's a two-side of that. So maybe another quick example. I hate that my boss is really, he's always pushing me and he's always saying me that I'm always making things wrong. And I'm not that way, like not with him and not with but then you go to your house and to your child, you're exactly the same. And then it's just something that you're not accepting, that you're projecting in someone else. So these are like 3 ways of how we can relate, or we can see that we are projecting something. It's not something that we do the same exact thing or the same exact way, no, but it's something that we can either secretly or even if it's like I'm a little violent with myself sometimes and I say, oh, I'm so stupid, no, and I hate violence outside. Well, that little violence inside me that I don't fully accept is projecting my anger. Or even, no, I'm angry with the people that's making a lot of violence. Well, maybe that anger is what you are projecting outside. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so I know it's sometimes a lot to process, and I'll just finish with this. And sometimes it's easier to see the mirror in not the mirror. It's easy to see the shadows of other people, no? And to see this mirror exercise in other people. But I will close with this, no? I told you before, but we also, the shadow is not just like the dark shadow, it's also the golden shadow. Everything we admire in people, everything that we love in people, it's also a projection of ourselves. So if I love how beautiful is someone, if I love how wonderful someone dances, that's also in me. And also, when we admire something, like, oh, I admire how she has gone like scale up her business and blah, 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 is something that I don't know I can do. So I project that as if it was something that I haven't reached or that I want to reach, but I haven't reached, no? So that's a golden shadow. Something that we also deny or repress about ourselves. So maybe when you make the list of the world, you put something like wonderful, and then you say like, oh, but I'm not that wonderful, no? Or I know I'm a little bit wonderful, but not that much. So that's why you're replacing your full potential or your golden shadow, okay? So to finalize this workshop is, we know that all these shadows come to us by society, family, friends, etc., etc. But when we start working our shadow, this is what starts happening. We start unwrapping and taking off all those blankets and all those covers we have, and then we discover the light was always inside. Like maybe we try to find the light outside us with people we admire and with people, no, but the light was always on us. When we realize that, and we can start illuminating ourselves, no? And then with that light, we can also illuminate our environment and our whole world, if we want to say it that way. So in this paradigmas, in my company, I always want to work it this way, and this is how we work it today, and how I like want and love to share how to work and to create more consciousness. We start by ourselves, by our own shadow work, and then we start projecting or not working in others. Just when we work in ourselves, we start reducing conflicts with other people, and we start working with like loving other people, and then we start maybe our family and our partner and stuff, and then we start expanding that light to the people that serves us coffee, like in the coffee shop, or the people that crosses our way that we don't even know. And finally, we expand that light to the world, even our environment, or even in these like situations that we were speaking before of the war. I need to know that when I start letting my light bright and also lightening my shadow and embracing my shadow, I'm also contributing to the world in a vibrational and also energetic field. No, we can for sure talk more about it in some other session or workshop, but this is what I really want you to acknowledge, no? And also this is an empathy tool for you. Everybody else, as we are, is wearing a mask. So if someone is really angry at you, or if someone is really mean to you, just remember that is their own shadow projecting in you. If someone comes out and tell you, oh, you're the worst, and you're whatever adjective you want to put, remember that don't take it personal. It's just their own reflection of their own shadow. Know that you cannot work that shadow, and if they are telling you, I maybe you can work on your temperament or something, maybe you can, but it's always a projection of ourselves. And remember, everybody else is wearing a mask too, no? And this mask is full of the shadows we have. So don't take it personal, and also choose to react different. Don't engage in the conflict. Okay, so I finish with this. Integrating our own shadow is the greatest gift we can give to ourselves and to others. And well, thank you very much for joining and destining this time for you, and for trusting in me sharing this with you. I will be very gladly to create maybe a group or something if you want to keep in this shadow work and consciousness work, because this is what I love doing. Also, what I told you, this is like, it's not fixed price. You can give whatever you know, whatever you think, whatever you feel like giving. We don't have like any, it's not like this is the cost that I know is whatever you feel like giving. I won't even say quantities because it's whatever you really feel like doing. That's my PayPal account. I will send you the link, but you can share whatever you feel, even though like the thing that you present yourself here and now, I'm really grateful to have shared this information with you that has helped me a lot in my own self-growth, and I'm really happy and fulfilled that you wanted to join this trip too.